So I feel like we might pick this up because it's 30. All right, do some digging.
I'm doing digging.
Do some digging. Today, Stina and I are in Orlando, Florida, and we're checking out Echo Base Toys. Now, I want to give you guys a fair warning before we dive into this episode. I had some audio issues with my microphone while recording at the store, so if things seem a little off in this episode, that's why. I'm so professional. All right, so immediately upon walking in the store, we are met with a row of glass cases that are stuffed with a variety of action figures, which is pretty typical for a lot of toy stores that I've been to. But one thing that really stood out to me about these particular cases were just how themed and colorful and bright and attractive they were. They're all well lit. Each case is like individual toy lines, or at least related toy lines. They had these colorful backdrops behind the figures. All of it just made the toys a lot more attractive. It was really cool theming inside of the store. Got these great Transformers. A couple good Transformers cases here. All the way through here. Also over here, like this Batman case. There's a bunch of good Kenner goodness in here. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. Love them.
If it's not something that I'm there.
Ooh, camo attack. That would be box. That's so awesome.
Ninja Turtles over here.
You found the turtles?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, hey, there's one of my favorites. It's the Metal Mutants Donatello, but that's the Takara release. So, the one released in Japan. The boxes are so much cooler than the US releases. Same figure though, but I've got that one at home. Oh, I love. Oh my gosh, and it's in the box with the soap. The Turtle Van soap dish. Do you see that in there? That is sweet. 55. It's got the little bars of soap. It's never been opened. That is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, all we have is
Got some of the mini mutant sets. These are great.
and then we've got
Cards.
and then like the recharge chair thing. That's cool.
Ooh, that looks like a soft head Leo. Carded. Hard head Raph. Carded. You can tell, see the shine on his head. That's how I know it's a hard head. Metal head, one of my faves. Punker Don. That's a good one. Ooh, hey, that's one that you don't see this one as often. Bodacious Biker.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Road Rippin' Mutant Motorbike. There's the turtle cycle. This is a good one too. Alright, so when you've got a store that's called Echo Base Toys, you would assume that there's some good Star Wars stuff, right? Well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of cool Star Wars stuff here. So here's a massive display case that is just completely filled to the brim with vintage Kenner figures. Look, we got some bounty hunters over here. Just so much stuff. Look at all the baggied figures up here. Man, there's some really good stuff. Lots of box stuff in here, too. I see a lot of boxed mini rigs. Rancor Monster. That's a whole bunch of medical droids right there. Ooh, boxed troop transport. I've always been a big fan of the troop transport. There's one over here loose, too, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, all these mini rigs and stuff in here are pretty cool. There's some carded figures in the back. Slave 1 right there in the middle. Lots of good stuff. You know, I love the desert sail skiff. If I ever pick up any of the mini rigs, I definitely think that's the one I would want. Like, I don't know. I really like that. It's really cool. It'd be awesome to have that one with the box too, just because, man, the photography on these old boxes is so cool. Oh, that Sandcrawler playset is sweet too. Speaking of playsets, all the way up here on the top of the case is the Death Star playset. You can see the box is here. The Dianaga is up there. We've even got a Star Destroyer playset. Now, this is one I don't see very often. Oh, and that's a boxed vintage Kenner Vader. Awesome. But these guys down here, these are the ones I'm nostalgic for. So these are the mail-away figures from Power of the Force 2. It's the Spirit of Obi-Wan and our Cantina band member, of course. So he was a mail away from a bag of chips, I think. And I specifically remember finding this guy at like a dealer booth when I was younger at like a mall sale. And then this guy, the Cantina band member, I mailed away for him from Star Wars Insider magazine. And I remember that so vividly. Like I was so excited for this figure to come. Of course, he comes with all the instruments. So like you want to make the whole band, you've got to buy the same figure over and over again. I was young, so I could only afford one, but I loved it. It's really cool seeing these guys here.
I have spotted something.
You spotted something?
I spotted one.
What?
I'll give you a hint.
Whoa, Mansion.
Well, that's not it, but still.
This is not what you spotted?
No. But that's still cool.
That is cool. Because this is from the original releases, and we don't have this one. I've only got the 3 Hitchhiking Ghosts in this slot. Because these are the ones that come with the big bases with all the extra stuff. So I feel like we might pick this up because it's 30. These were Disney Parks exclusives like really long time ago. Like 03, 04, 05, like early 2000s.
Yeah.
These Haunted Mansion figures. Actually, I'm curious, does it have a date on it? I don't think it does. So here's the other thing we realized as we're looking through the store. Being in Orlando, Florida, of course, this is going to be the type of place that we find Disney Parks exclusive toys, which means Vinylmations, which, if you guys have been watching the show, you know that that's Stina's primary thing to collect right now. So immediately she goes on the hunt looking for Vinylmations. In fact, she finds a couple of like mint in box Star Wars Vinylmations that are pretty cool. Also, while I'm walking around, I spy one single Vinylmation behind the counter on a shelf, which is what prompted me to ask if they had more of those around the store. And that's when I realized that Stina had already wandered off. So I go to the back of the store to find her digging through a bin where the store owners have already told her where more Vinylmations could be found. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're always in there. Yes.
Vinylmations.
So anything left
I
is
threw
in
them
there.
all in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right,
It's not.
do some digging.
I'm doing digging.
Do some digging.
It's not.
I'm so proud of her. And this was a lot of fun. We dug through these bins, and she actually found several Vinylmation figures that she didn't already have in her own collection. Some really cool ones here. And man, this was just so much fun for me. Just watching her get excited every time she pulled out a new one from digging in the bin. It's just one of those things that like, it makes me so happy that I get to like share this experience with her when we go places. And I get so happy when she's also getting that excitement from finding the things that she's trying to track down and collect. It's just an awesome thing to share. All right, so we got her a whole bunch of Vinylmations. Now it's my turn, and I see a giant case that is filled with Masters of the Universe stuff, and you know I've got to check that out. So we got a good Fright Zone down here with a puppet. He's in pretty good shape, maybe a little crunched up, but looks pretty good. There's Battle Bones. There's some good vintage stuff down here. Oh, and a Battle Sound Skeletor from the 2000X line. Oh, a lot of Motu Classics. Hey, that's cool. This is the tiered stand from the Motu Classics line. I don't see that out too much. There's a couple of those in here. They're okay. I don't actually like them very much, but it's just something you don't see as often with Motu Classics stuff. Continuing with a lot of classics up here on this shelf. Origin stuff mixed in the back there too. You can see, wait, these. Now these are cool. This looks like vintage belt buckles. Oh man, I love this stuff. Those are both incredible. Definitely not something that I run into very often. It's crazy just how much random merchandise is out there for stuff like He-Man. I love those. Moving up to the top shelf, we've got a lot more vintage stuff. There's a box Stridor back there. It's seen better days, but it's still boxed. A lot of cool stuff up here. What is up with this Battle Cat, though? No, seriously, like, look at the eyes on that thing. There's definitely something different here. So as I'm scanning the case, looking at everything in there, I notice a Battle Cat that stands out to me instantly. Now, you guys probably know at this point that Battle Cat is one of my favorite figures to collect for in the Vintage Masters of the Universe line. It's just one of those figures that has had lots of different paint decos that are always slightly different from one another depending on what factory he came from, and I've always just really liked that mold. So he's a fun toy to collect. But this one stands out even more than usual. I notice immediately that the paint deco on this one doesn't seem to match any of them that we typically see here in the US. The eyes especially give it away. So I instantly get the attention of the store owner and ask him about it, and he tells me, oh yeah, it's a France Battle Cat. So the country of origin, date stamp on the bottom of this particular Battle Cat stamps France on there. And if you guys are unaware, most of the US releases are either going to be stamped with Taiwan, Malaysia, or Mexico. And then there's the commemorative figures from 2000 that are stamped China. If it's got France on there, it was likely released in the European markets. So to anybody who lives in the European markets and had Masters of the Universe back in the 80s, this probably looks like their normal Battle Cat. But for me, this is a really unique piece because you don't just walk into a toy store typically here in the US and find a figure like this that was released overseas. So it likely was just traded in. It was part of somebody's collection. It's missing the armor, no helmet, no saddle, but the price is right and it's unique enough that I know I'm leaving here with this today. So as I'm heading up to the register with my Battle Cat that I know I'm going to buy, in that counter display, I spy something else that totally catches my attention. They've got a whole bunch of the Bandai Mega Man toys. Now these, of course, are all based off of that cartoon series that aired here in North America back in the 90s. And this is another line that I have been actively collecting for. It's a bit obscure. These figures have gotten pretty expensive over the years, and there are a lot of these Robot Masters in this line that are a lot harder to get than some of those first series figures. Immediately in the case, what stood out to me was Bomb Man, but also right behind him is Drill Man. Both of these figures are complete, and even underneath that are a bunch of the little minifigures. I need all of these, but I need to specifically focus on probably the larger figures because these are a bit on the pricey side. I do have a Drill Man in my collection. My Drill Man's just incomplete. He's missing one of the drills on his hand that fires off, but I don't have Bomb Man at all. And this Bomb Man is complete. So if I have to pick one thing out of here, I think that's the thing I'm gonna pick. With that, we are wrapping up our visit to Echo Base Toys in Orlando, Florida. This is a really great toy store. Not only is it filled with a lot of treasures, a lot of cool things that I was looking for, like those Mega Man figures and such. I just love the way this store looks inside. I mentioned before that I love the way they got all those cases lit up, and they're very colorful. It's all very eye-catching and appealing, and it makes for a really fun shopping experience. On top of that, the owners are fantastic. Very nice people who are willing to go out of their way to help us find things. They helped Stina find some Vinylmations that they had moved to the back. So really great experience. And they also do printing. So if you're into stuff like that, check out these amazing stickers that they also gifted us on our way out, so you can see some of the cool things that they're also doing here at the store. If you're ever in Orlando and you need a break from those theme parks that you're surely in Orlando to visit, you need to get over here to Echo Base Toys. I think you'll have a lot of fun. And with that being said, it's time for our haul. So of course, we saw Stina digging through that bin. She found all these Vinylmations here in the store that she didn't already have in her collection. Man, she is really on a roll with this. We're gonna have to get a proper display set up for her soon. I know everybody's been asking to see her collection. And then here's that Bomb Man figure that I purchased. Really happy to have this guy. There's not a ton of figures in this particular Mega Man line, so I'm actually starting to like round out this series. But I've got a few to go still, and it's one of those toy lines that just makes me so happy. So I'm glad I'm almost done with it. And my personal favorite pickup from Echo Base is the France Battle Cat. Again, I love Battle Cats. I love collecting all sorts of different versions of this particular mold, and this is a great one to add to the collection. Of course, the big standout on here is the eyes. The eyes are completely different than what we typically see on a US release, but even the stripes are painted different. I mean, they're shaped a little different. They're a little thinner than we usually see. I don't know. I love it. I love having a new Battle Cat to add to my growing collection. Hey guys, thank you so very much for joining us for another installment of Toy Hunting with Pixel Dan. I'm really sorry again that I lost all my audio. I wish I had more of that from the actual store, but I hope you guys still enjoyed this video nonetheless. And seriously, like, I hope that doesn't detract you from going to check out this store, because Echo Base was a really fun place to do some toy hunting. As always, I want to give you all a very special thanks for continuing to watch this series, helping me share it, hitting that like button, subscribing if you have, and if you haven't, why not, man? Doesn't cost you anything. Hit that subscribe button, help me out, let's grow this channel. But also, thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon. You guys are amazing for the additional support, and stay tuned. New episodes next Saturday and every Saturday after that. Until next time, happy hunting, my friends.